What's up, guys? Welcome to the Metal Roofing Channel. I'm Thad Barnette. In my last video, I said we weren't going to be back until January, but we are dedicated to bringing you the most up-to-date information on the metal construction market. And today we have an urgent update about steel. I have Brett and Adam from Sheffield Metals to fill us in on the details. Thanks for being here, guys. What's going on with steel?
I appreciate you having us, Thad. The long and the short of it is since the last market update, which we did at MetalCon, so we're talking about 60 days or less, the steel market is up 40%.
Man.
And ultimately, really what that means is, we want to get communication out to protect our customers, protect their bids, protect how they bid, particularly as we get into this time of the year where people are, sort of drawn back, spending more time away from work with their families, but they still have these bids out there. So want to make sure our customers are protecting their bids. We're not anticipating the market slowing down from, the perspective of continuing to increase. But ultimately, we want to make sure that, customers are aware and that we're giving them the most timely information we can.
Gotcha. So as we're finishing out the year, we're in mid-December right now. What does that look like for our customers, whether it be contractors or manufacturers? What should they be looking at when they're starting the new year here?
So we always preach putting a clause in there to capture price increases, things like that. So, you've got a bid. We know market prices are going up. It could also be used as a tool to help you close more bids or close more jobs as well, particularly in the winter as things are, seemingly slowing down. You may be able to get somebody off, the pine and say, hey, your price is going up 10%, unless I have an order in the next 2 weeks. So, there's a variety of ways you can do it. Ultimately, the most important thing for a contractor to do is to protect their business, and making sure that they're not the one stuck absorbing the increase when they've got a job coming up that they know they have sold, things of that nature.
Got it. So let's talk a little bit about, what's maybe causing some of these steel increases here, and then talk about future outlook. Brett, can you talk to us a little bit about what some of the causes are?
Yeah, I think you've got a perfect storm happening right now. The UAW strike was settled. You're having operational issues at many of the U.S. mills. Inventories were at historic lows, so there wasn't a lot of material sitting out there. You're having issues at the Panama Canal, so foreign is having a difficult time coming into the United States. It's really just a perfect storm of all these factors that are having an influence on the supply chain and driving up price.
Interesting. Yeah, not just one thing. It's really a whole mix of things. That the automotive thing, I think, is huge. Adam, talk to us a little bit about that. What does that mean for the steel market?
Yeah, automotive the last several years has really been down, particularly domestically. A lot of it was driven because of chip shortages and things like that. I think this UAW strike actually probably helped things coming out of it. I think people didn't stop producing chips when they weren't producing cars the last several months. So coming out of it, the supply chain has sort of had a chance to get caught back up, particularly on the chip side. And now I think we're starting to see things really start to take off. Demand is there from an automotive manufacturing standpoint, and the supply chain has had a chance to really get caught up. So I think we're going to be seeing that, and with the demand being high from an automotive perspective, we're drawing from kind of that same pool of steel for the market. So that's just continuing to draw prices up.
Yeah, makes sense.
One of the things drawing the prices up.
So when we're looking at steel, what are the kind of short-term 90-day outlooks that you guys are possibly seeing?
I think you're going to continue to see prices ratchet up from the mills. Obviously, we will try and buffer that as best we can, but I would expect that customers are going to see prices increase over the foreseeable future. Until there's some sort of equilibrium in the marketplace, you're not going to see prices stabilize or go down. So, the mills have to step up and be able to supply demand. Foreign has to be able to flow freely to offset the domestic issues. I think that's probably second quarter where we see that stabilization. For the foreseeable future, I would think things are going to be very tight. We're hearing potential allocation from the mills, which means, you can't buy everything you want to buy. all in all, I think things are going to be very hot and heavy the next 90 days.
Gotcha. And let me ask about demand. How does construction demand right now and over the next 90 days kind of play into this conversation?
Sure. From a seasonality perspective, and this is a big reason why we wanted to get this information out there. Seasonality, people are sort of winding down. They're sort of wrapping up what they're doing in 2023, and depending on where you live, the weather will kind of dictate how much work they're going to do in the winter. But we don't want our customers to be winding down 23 and then wake up, in January, February 2024 and be like, what do you mean my steel price is up, or my cost for painted steel is up 20, 30, 40 cents a square foot? And those are the things, that's the dynamic that we're looking at in the market right now is just one of these kind of shock events that unfortunately we've seen a lot of these over the last probably, 5-6 years, pretty much going back to 2018 and 232 going into place. There's these shock events that are happening in the market. Our goal is to educate and help and make sure our customers don't get caught in a bad position because they weren't aware of what's happening.
So as we present this information, what should customers be doing to help protect their business?
Yeah, I think, as I've said before, stay close to your account managers. Any type of forecasting you can provide us is, awesome. Unless we know what the demand is in the future, we can't prepare internally for that. So think about what steel making and painting that timeline is. You're talking 3 to 4 months to kind of fill that pipeline. So we need as much information from our customer base as possible so that we can be prepared for that demand.
That's a great point, because I think it's something that gets overlooked sometimes. When it comes to Sheffield purchasing steel, having that information from our customers is huge, right? If we know that they've got this many projects coming up, maybe they've got a huge project coming up that's going to require a large number of coils or square footage or whatever, that really helps us prepare. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, and a lot of, for instance, schools, a lot of schools are bidding right around this time of year. That work typically does not commence until, June. When there's nobody in the school, and you could kind of have carte blanche for a full re-roof project in a school building. So, we see that oftentimes in government work as well. So just making sure that, you don't bid using yesterday's numbers, that you're using numbers that are, ultimately going to be the number that you have to live with on a particular project.
Now, I know we can't predict the future, but when we're looking at long-term insights, what are some things that we can take into consideration?
Well, I think overall markets tend to trade on emotion and momentum. That doesn't mean that customers should be going out and thinking that the sky is falling and we're going to load up on inventory, because these markets can change, just as quickly the opposite direction. So while we do believe that, the next 30, 60, 90 days are going to be very strong, after that, we're uncertain.
All right, Brett, Adam, thank you guys very much. And if you have any questions, please comment down below. Stay close to your account manager. Protect your business as we are entering 2024 here. And for real this time, we'll see you in January. As always, I'm Thad Barnette. We'll catch you next time.